She must apologize immediately, not only to all Texans, but to our country, to the American shareholders of Tesla.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett, when are you gonna apologize to the shareholders of Tesla? That's what Attorney General Pam Bondi is demanding from the Congresswoman from Texas. She wants the apology following a statement that Congresswoman Crockett had made in a live stream in order to retaliate against Elon Musk for what he and Doge are doing in regard to gutting government institutions. Let's actually hear what she had to say in that live stream that got all this negative attention from Republicans and Bondi.
Pam Bondi is now calling on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett to apologize, not to Texans, not to her colleagues, but to Tesla shareholders. Yes, apparently making strong comments about wealthy CEOs is now seen as a national concern. This all started over a live stream where Crockett mentioned she'd love to see Elon Musk held accountable on her birthday. While some reacted as if she threatened a national treasure, the truth is this: Tesla's problems have little to do with Crockett's comments and everything to do with leadership decisions. Tesla's market value has dropped dramatically, executives are selling shares, the Cybertruck rollout hasn't gone as planned, and Musk seems more focused on political debates than his business. So if anyone should be answering to shareholders, it's not Crockett, it's Elon Musk. And the numbers back that up.
On March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, I have learned as I serve on the Doge Oversight Committee that there is only one language that the people that are in charge understand right now. And that language is money.
So obviously she's referring to the protests, not the violent ones, not the firebombing. She didn't advocate for any of that, but she's talking about the money, meaning, if the value of the shares for Tesla goes down, well, that's, the movement being effective in fighting back against Elon Musk. She did not advocate for violence. I want to be clear about that. Although some on the right are trying to make it seem as though she was advocating for violence. That is not the case at all. She's talking about hitting the company where it hurts, and that means the value of its shares.
Yeah, we have a different theory, which we'll get to in a second, but later on in that same exact statement, she said, obviously we don't mean violence, we mean what Anna just explained.
Correct.
So
yeah.
It wasn't like she clarified later, and it wasn't just that it was obvious. She literally said, do not do violence.
In the same live stream, yes.
Yes, and so just about 20 seconds after what we just showed you. Okay, so then Pam Bondi originally came out and said, oh yeah, she better watch herself, and threatening her as like they might arrest her. Remember, Pam Bondi, believe it or not, is the Attorney General of the United States. And so now that she has to acknowledge, and she was asked about it, and she's like, okay, fine, she didn't ask for violence, okay? But she's hurting the Tesla shareholders, and that's violence towards corporate profits, the most precious thing in the world. This from an administration that claimed to be populist.
So look.
Hilarious.
There are all sorts of arguments made in order to provide cover for Tesla. Oh, but what about all of the pension funds and retirement accounts that are invested in Tesla? Those are the little guys. Okay, let's stop pretending like, Elon Musk defenders are worried about the little guys as Elon Musk and Doge literally fire Social Security Administration workers, close Social Security Administration field offices, and dismantle Social Security without even having to pass any legislation in Congress to do it. They don't care about the little guy at all. But the thing that I will say here is, if you're worried about the shareholders, don't you think Elon Musk should maybe apologize to them? Because a lot has been made about how these protests have been the, causal link to the share prices going down. But apparently, and based on some of the research I've been doing into Tesla even prior to Doge, a lot of these big name investors had been pulling out of Tesla to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. And more of those, huge Tesla fans, big name investors, I'm talking about corporate CEOs, are now going on national television and they're admitting that there's a real problem with the lack of leadership in that company, okay, the bad decisions that are being made, the products that are being rolled out that aren't even completely finished yet. So I'm gonna give you that evidence in just a moment, but Jen, go ahead.
In a moment full of dramatic reactions, former Florida Attorney General General Pam Bondi has called on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett to apologize, not just to her state or to Elon Musk, but to Tesla investors. According to Bondi, corporate investors are now portrayed as the ones most affected by political comments. Crockett's actual remark: during a live stream, she said she wished Musk would be financially challenged on her birthday, a clear metaphor about accountability. Still, Bondi used this as a chance to claim damage where there was none, turning a common political expression into a headline. But Crockett was clear. She opposes any harm and was referring strictly to business consequences. The outrage feels less about concern for shareholders and more about shielding the ultra-wealthy. This is part of a broader pattern. Take a progressive's figure of speech, ignore the context, and spin it into a controversy. It shifts the focus away from real corporate responsibility and instead turns the conversation into emotional appeals in defense of the very top.
There are some serious issues over at Tesla. And again, that's not just based on what I'm saying. I'm gonna show you the receipts starting with the smaller issues, and then we're gonna work our way up to the bigger issues. So first off, Financial Times, which is one of my favorite publications. I think they do a real good job with like straight news reporting and also reporting on stories that no one else is reporting on. Well, they had written about how Tesla spent $6.3 billion in capital expenditures. And that was in the last half of last year. So the last 6 months of 2024, they spent $6.3 billion in capital expenditures. But the gross value of the company's assets increased by only $4.9 billion. And so what explains the $1.4 billion discrepancy? And more importantly, why did they take out debt to engage in these capital expenditures when they're sitting on a ton of money? A closer look at Tesla's cash flow statement may also prompt investors to ask other questions, such as why a business with a $37 billion cash pile raised $6 billion of new debt last year. A combination of excess cash flow and ongoing capital raising is another red flag that can signal accounting misstatements. So that obviously needs to be investigated further. And as of March 19th, Tesla's stock market valuation crashed from 1.7 trillion to below 800 billion. Now, some of Musk's own friends and family members have actually been dumping Tesla stock. Should they apologize to the remaining shareholders?
I mean, the Tesla shareholders have been aggrieved.
We need to.
This is the most important thing for our government. Forget the American people, who cares? Tesla shareholders.
Yeah.
This is what populism's been all about, shareholders, corporations.
Once hailed as a tech innovator, Elon Musk is now facing a tough reality check. His companies are missing expectations, his products often launch with issues, and his focus seems scattered across too many public ventures. The Cybertruck, once a flagship promise, is now under recall. Tesla's financial reports show warning signs, and tellingly, several top insiders, including board members and even Musk's own brother, are selling millions in shares. These moves don't exactly inspire confidence. They suggest internal doubts about the company's direction under a CEO whose priorities include managing social platforms and reshaping public policy, rather than staying focused on the business of making dependable vehicles. While some media outlets still highlight Musk's personality, Tesla's numbers tell another story. Despite holding a strong cash reserve, the company has taken on new debt with limited gains in assets, raising concerns about how well the finances are being managed. Tesla's drop in value from $1.7 trillion to under $800 billion wasn't sudden or due only to outside pressure. It points to broader investor skepticism tied to issues of leadership, transparency, and product quality. This isn't just a dip, it's a clear sign of deeper concerns.
A Tesla board member and friend of Elon Musk sold $13.3 million worth of Tesla shares, which drove the company to its worst single-day decline since September of 2020. This happened in early March, okay?
13.2,
yeah. So, and by the way, his sale comes after another, non-executive director made similar moves, including Tesla chair Robin Denholm, who sold $75 million worth of Tesla stock, as reported by ABC News on March 18th. Then you have Elon Musk's own brother, Kimball, who sold $27 million worth of shares. Why? I mean, if the fundamentals are there, if Tesla's such a great company, if you believe in the future of Tesla, which isn't just a car company, it's also a robotics company, an AR company, that's what we're all being told, right? If you believe in the future, why would you, sell tens of millions of dollars worth of Tesla stock? I'm sure it has nothing to do with protests at Tesla dealerships.
Or by the way, I mean, we don't know, and I don't know where that 1.4 billion is, and it might be a normal irregularity. They're going to have to figure that out. It's a public company, etc. But why are all these insiders selling their stocks?
A lot of it too, yeah.
Do they know something we don't know? I mean, look, I don't know. It might be that they're just looking at it going, Elon hasn't showed up to work in a long time. And so maybe they're worried about that. Maybe they're worried about other things, but they're definitely worried because they're dumping the stock like nobody's business.
And that takes us to Gerber Kawasaki CEO Ross Gerber, who desperately wants Tesla to find another CEO. He believes in the product. He obviously owns shares of Tesla stock, but he's worried about the leadership vacuum right now and the poor decisions, and he said so on national television. Take a look.
It was 5 years ago to the day that the great Tesla run began, which lasted about 18 months and peaked in November 01 when he started selling Tesla stock to buy Twitter. So it started with the purchase of Twitter, and it's just gone worse and worse and worse to now literally, working at the government, working with Donald Trump and having Trump and Ludnick pitching Tesla stock and cars. I mean, that's how bad it is. How about just running traditional ads and separating yourself from the brand? And, he has CEOs who run his other companies. I don't understand why he won't let Tesla have a dedicated CEO. For me, it's not about politics. It's about selling EVs. We are selling less EVs. We have the best products on the market, and we're selling less of them while the market's growing fast. Why is everybody still in denial on why this is happening and what the solutions are to solving it?
So there you have it. He's talking about how, even before these protests, like already the stock value was going down. There was a bump after Trump got elected because obviously Elon Musk is going to have some sway over the Trump administration that could potentially help.
Flipping the conversation around Musk, some progressive voices are asking a pointed question. If taxpayers have supported Tesla with $38 billion in public funds, what's the return for everyday Americans? It's not just a catchy phrase. It's a real conversation about fairness and how public money benefits private industry. If shareholders deserve accountability, shouldn't the public expect something in return too? Where's Our Cut has become a rallying cry for a new kind of economic fairness, one where public investments don't just result in executive rewards or high-end vehicles for a select few. There's a stark contrast here. The same people who criticize government aid for the public are quick to defend major corporate interests. Some leaders claim to speak for the average citizen while their actions protect large companies and push for fewer regulations. Elon Musk's influence and public image have come to represent this contradiction, a figure who talks about independence while supporting changes that impact public services. At its core, this back and forth isn't about protecting everyday people. It's about shielding powerful figures from critique while keeping up the image of caring about the public. Pam Bondi's demand for an apology from Jasmine Crockett seems less about fairness and more about controlling the conversation. If Tesla investors deserve answers, they should be looking toward leadership, not elected officials speaking up. And maybe it's time for decision makers to prioritize working Americans over corporate comfort. If you're ready to keep challenging that imbalance, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. We're just getting started. While some media outlets still highlight Musk's personality, Tesla's numbers tell another story. Despite holding a strong cash reserve, the company has taken on new debt with limited gains in assets, raising concerns about how well the finances are being managed. Tesla's drop in value from $1.7 trillion to under $800 billion wasn't sudden or due only to outside pressure. It points to broader investor skepticism tied to issues of leadership, transparency, and product quality. This isn't just a dip, it's a clear sign of deeper